Game week 12 is almost done. This is recorded before the Newcastle against West Ham match, and hopefully for my game week 12 wildcard team, Newcastle will win this one. In this video, I'll take a quick look at my game week 12 score, the updated watch list for forwards and midfielders, and finally I'll take a look at the captaincy, and this will be really exciting for game week 13, and I have none less than 5 different captain options. So let's have a look. $54 points so far with Isaac and Hall left to play. Hopefully they can do something against West Ham, which will give me a decent green arrow for game week 12. It's always nice to have a good game week after using your wildcard. Of course, my captain was Mo Salah. He got 13 points. He was actually on 14 points, which would have given a couple of more points, but he lost that maximum bonus at the end and only got 2 bonus points. He took off his shirt, of course, really frustrating for owners, but in the end I'm really satisfied with Salah's performance. Joe Pedro did really well, 12 points from him, goal and an assist. Gabriel, he got a clean sheet for Arsenal, but other than that my players have actually blanked. Masraoui and Bruno for Man United, not the best performance from Man United. A really good start, scoring in the first minute, but they drew against Ipswich. And Bruno, kind of disappointing. Same goes for Palmer. Havertz, of course, really disappointed. He didn't play any minutes and he will be subbed off, and I will get Ait Nouri coming in for 2 points. So not the best start for Havertz, but I will probably keep him and give him another chance in game week 13. It's kind of tempting to sell him and bring in Cunha, but I will have a little bit more patience with Havertz. As mentioned, Newcastle are yet to play, and hopefully Isaac and Hall can do something, and if I'm lucky I will get close to 70 points. So let's have a look at the team selection for the next game week. So this will probably be my team in game week 13. The same team as in game week 12. I have still Ait Nouri and Kirkis on the bench. They're playing against each other. Fabianski on the bench playing against Arsenal. I will of course start Sanchez. And when it comes to the last player on the bench, Buonanotte, he was suspended for game week 12, but he will stay on the bench for my team in game week 13 as well. I kind of like him. He's a differential and he is the creative spark in that Leicester side, but I can't really see them scoring that many goals in game week 13 against Brentford, so he will stay on my bench. Other than that, Masraoui, Gabriel, Hall in defense, Bruno, Salah, Palmer and Mbeumo in the midfield, and up top I will of course start Joe Pedro. Havertz will get another chance and Isaac will start against Crystal Palace. I've seen a lot of early transfers this game week, even though there are European midweek games for 7 different teams. So if you have the possibility, wait as long as possible. And in the next section I'll take a quick look at the updated watch list for both midfielders and forwards. No big differentials or surprises in the watch list for midfielders and defenders. I really recommend bringing in those players if you don't have them already. Cole Palmer, he blanked in game week 12, but he actually did pretty well when it comes to his expected goals. He was one of the biggest underperformers in game week 12. So Chelsea's fixtures are really good, and if you want to cover the Chelsea attack, I do believe that Cole Palmer is actually a better option than Jackson. I can see him get subbed off early and he will maybe see some rotation during the busy schedule coming up. So for me, if you want to cover the Chelsea attack, Cole Palmer is the best option. When it comes to Arsenal, I recommend having Saka in your team going forward. My plan is to bring him in for game week 14 or 15. I will probably sell Kai Havertz and one of Bruno Fernandes or Mbeumo. So if you have the possibility to bring in Saka, it's probably a good idea to just get him in. Gabriel is also included on this list. I know that he is not a differential, he's close to 25% owned, but it's like if you have Gabriel at the moment, and if you need a new defender, if you still have Trent or someone like that, I recommend to just double up on the Arsenal attack. If you have two defenders, I would avoid tripling up on their defense. I would leave a space open for Saka. Familiar names when it comes to forwards as well. I just mentioned that I prefer Cole Palmer when it comes to Chelsea players, but if you can't afford him, Jackson is a viable option to cover the Chelsea attack. He is only priced at 7.9, and I just talked about the good fixtures for Chelsea, and I think that we should have one of their attacking assets. Cunha, he is on fire at the moment, 6.9, really good price and good fixtures coming up as well. He's already seen his price rise after the game week 12 deadline, so he will probably get a double rise this game week. So if you need a new forward, then of course Cunha is a really good option at the moment. If you can't afford him, I do believe that Joao Pedro is still one of the best deals in fantasy right now. He's priced at 5.5 and he has good fixtures as well, on fire, same as Cunha, and he is on penalties for Brighton as well. So at the moment, so many good options up top. So if you have the possibility, bring in one of those guys. My preferred options would be Cunha and Joao Pedro, but if you want to cover the Chelsea attack, Jackson is a good option as well. The captaincy for Game Week 13 will be really interesting. There are so many good options, but none of them are really standing out. Man United playing at home against Everton. On paper it looks like a really good fixture, but when we take a look at Everton's stats, they are actually pretty impressive. They are one of the best defensive teams for the last 4 game weeks. So Bruno, he blanked in Game Week 12, didn't look that good as he did under Van Nistelrooy. So I will not captain Bruno Fernandes in Game Week 13, and this is mostly because of Everton's good defensive stats. So let's have a look at another option. Next out is Mo Salah. He was my captain in Game Week 12 and did really well. When we take a look at Man City, they are actually one of the worst teams when it comes to the defensive stats for the last 4 game weeks. My problem with captaining Mo Salah in Game Week 13 is that we all know Man City's qualities and we know that they at some point will turn it around. So captaining a player against Man City just feels wrong. We know, as mentioned, we know about their qualities, and Game Week 13 might be the game week where Man City gets back on track and they can and have the quality to beat Liverpool. So Mo Salah will probably not be my captain because there are a couple of other options as well. So let's have a look at them. My next captain option is Isak. He is playing against Crystal Palace. He is not yet played in Game Week 12, but he will play tonight against West Ham. So I will monitor that game and have a look at Isak's form. But in Game Week 13, playing against Crystal Palace, they are really average when it comes to their defensive stats from the last 4 game weeks. They kept 1 clean sheet, and we can see that they have conceded 6 goals, 12 big chances, 21 shots on target conceded. They actually have an expected goals conceded of 7.21, which is quite high. It's the 17th worst in the league so far. So Isak, if he does well in Game Week 12 against West Ham, he might be one of the favorites to take the captain's armband in Game Week 13. Mbeumo, really good fixture for Brentford playing at home against Leicester. The problem is Mbeumo's form. For the last couple of game weeks he has not delivered, but we know about his qualities. He's nailed on and on penalties for Brentford, so I still believe that he is a decent shout for Game Week 13. When it comes to Leicester, we can see that they are really average when it comes to the defending as well. They're worst when it comes to conceding goals, 9 goals, which is worst in the league, and they are average when it comes to big chances conceded, shots on target, and expected goals against them. So I do believe that Mbeumo is a good captain option in Game Week 13, even though his form has not been as it was at the start of the season. The 5th and the last player I will be considering for captaincy in Game Week 13 is actually Joao Pedro. He is also the cheapest player, but don't let you get fooled by his price, only 5.5, but he is a decent captain option for Game Week 13, especially considering their opponent in Game Week 13 Southampton, they are worst in the league when it comes to so many defensive stats. They have an expected goals conceded of 8.91, even though they only conceded 6 goals. So they've been kind of lucky not to conceding more goals than they have done. When it comes to shots on target and big chances conceded, they're also worst in the league. So I do believe that Joao Pedro and Brighton, they have a good chance to do really, really well in game week 13 against Southampton. At the moment, Joao Pedro is actually my preferred captain option, but it might also change to the likes of Mbeumo or Isaac. I'm not sure if I will go with Bruno Fernandes, probably not, and I will probably not captain Mo Salah as mentioned against Man City. So it's between Joao Pedro, Isaac and Mbeumo at the moment. So let me know in the comments down below, who do you think is the best captain option for game week 13?